Let's dive into a massive idea from Robert Greene's The Laws of Human Nature. We're talking about mastering our own emotional self, that hidden force that's secretly pulling all the strings. This gets pretty deep, so let's get right into it.
So let me ask you something right off the bat. Are you really in the driver's seat of your own life? I mean, we all like to think we are, don't we? But what if most of the time, something else is actually holding the reins? Let's figure out what that is.
You know the feeling, right? You get completely blindsided by something someone does. Or maybe even worse, you get so frustrated with yourself for falling into the exact same trap again. We say things we immediately regret, we get sucked into these foolish projects, and we're just left feeling kind of confused and powerless, making the same mistakes over and over.
And to make sense of it all, we usually grab for the easy explanation. You know? Oh, that person is just evil. Or, I don't know, I just wasn't myself today. But those simple stories, they don't really get us anywhere, do they? The truth, according to Green, is that it's like we've got this stranger living inside us, a part of ourselves that just seems to do whatever it wants.
Okay, so who is this stranger? Well, Green calls it the emotional self. And this is really his core diagnosis for why we act so irrationally sometimes. It's this incredibly powerful, hidden force that's truly running the show, whispering ideas in our ear and pulling our strings from just below the surface. And look, this isn't some new thing. This is the result of millions of years of evolution. Our emotions are basically ancient survival tools. The problem is, in our modern world, they completely dominate our thinking. They make us lean into ideas that feel good, that soothe our ego, that confirm what we want to be true, not what actually is true. And this isn't just some modern psychology concept either. The great novelist Dostoevsky, he nailed this feeling perfectly. This idea of a second self that pushes us to do things almost against our will. It's a feeling everyone has had. That's the stranger within. Now, to see the real-world consequences of this battle inside our heads, there is no better case study than ancient Athens. Seriously, we're going to look at the city under two totally different vibes, one guided by reason and one that was completely consumed by emotion. So first, you've got Pericles, the city's legendary statesman. He made a very conscious choice to be guided by what the Greeks called nous, basically rational intelligence. He literally trained himself to not react emotionally in the moment and to always think about the long-term good of Athens. And the result? Well, he kept them out of pointless wars, created incredible prosperity, and kicked off a golden age of art and science. Not bad. But then Pericles died, and that rational, calm leadership just vanished. The city spiraled into emotional chaos. Political factions came back with a vengeance, greed took over, and new leaders started appealing to people's absolute worst instincts. All of this led to the Sicilian expedition, a totally disastrous military campaign born from nothing but arrogance and wishful thinking. I mean, the contrast here is just staggering. It's not just that being rational is good and being emotional is bad. It's about the very real results. You see how long-term thinking and calmness created a unified city and prosperity. But the second emotion took the wheel, that short-sightedness led straight to chaos and ultimately defeat. The story of Athens is a massive warning for every single one of us. So here's the big takeaway from all that. Rationality, it's not something you're just born with. It's a power, a muscle that you have to build up, just like Pericles built up his inner Athena. It's about making a conscious choice to strengthen your thinking self. The ancient Greeks had this absolutely perfect metaphor for this idea: the rider and the horse. The horse is our emotional self. It's powerful, it's full of energy and life, but without a rider, that energy is just wild and destructive. The rider, that's our thinking self, our rationality. And the job of the rider isn't to kill the horse, but to take the reins and guide all that incredible energy towards something useful. So how do we actually do this? Well, Green gives us 4 really practical steps. First, you have to recognize your own biases. Things like confirmation bias, where you only look for evidence that supports what you already feel. Second, and this one is huge, increase your reaction time. When you feel that hot flash of emotion, just stop. Step back. Don't send that angry text. Sleep on it. Third, accept people as they are. Stop wasting all that energy wishing they were different and just observe them as a fact of life. And finally, find that balance. Become the rider that skillfully guides the horse, turning all that raw power into real purpose. And this is where it gets really interesting. Because once you start to get a handle on your own emotional world, something incredible happens. The real power isn't just about managing yourself, it's about what that clarity lets you do next. It unlocks the door to understanding the emotional world of other people. This is the next level of the game, moving from self-obsession to genuine empathy. Now, Green makes his point that we are all to some degree on the narcissistic spectrum. We kind of have to be, just to build a solid sense of who we are. The real work of our lives isn't to get rid of that, but to move along that spectrum, away from being totally absorbed in ourselves and toward a real, true connection with others. You can kind of see that journey right here. We all start off leaning towards self-absorption. The goal is to move from being a deep narcissist who only sees other people as tools through being a functional narcissist, which is kind of where most of us hang out, all the way to becoming a healthy narcissist, someone who has a strong sense of self, but who can turn their focus outward and really connect with people through empathy. And that is the ultimate prize. Empathy is a superpower. It's the ability to quiet your own ego down for a minute so you can actually understand where someone else is coming from. When you can do that, you can build deeper bonds, you have more influence, and you can navigate the social world with incredible skill. But it all starts with getting yourself sorted out first so you can finally see other people clearly.
So it all comes down to this one powerful question. When you really look at your life, your decisions, your reactions, your patterns, who's actually in charge? Is it the wild, emotional horse, or is it the calm, rational rider? The choice, ultimately, is yours.